National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shamila Batohi, has withdrawn racketeering charges against Johan Booysen and his co-accused. The decision was made following recommendations from a panel. For reaction now, let's speak to Booysen, who is on the line. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Booysen. A feeling of relief must be the most important emotion that you're feeling today.
No. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed. I was just asking how you felt after hearing the news that those racketeering charges had been dropped against you.
Well, obviously I'm relieved and grateful that at least sanity has prevailed at the National Prosecuting Authority after all these years.
Now, you've always said that you were confident that there was never evidence that would be able to see you prosecuted on these charges. At the same time, however, it must have been difficult to have these charges hanging over your head all these years.
Yeah, obviously it's difficult to have charges hanging over your head for almost 7 years. And given the fact that a judge had already ruled in 2012 in the High Court in Durban that there was no evidence to link me to any of the offences that I'd been charged for.
Would you be looking to seek justice of your own for what you've had to endure?
Obviously, I'll be discussing it with my legal team, and I'll reserve my rights in that regard. I did institute civil action against the state quite some time ago, which is currently underway.
And now we believe that the evidence in these cases will be reassessed by the Acting Deputy Public Protector for KZN, because there is an understanding that in as much as charges against you and other members have been dropped, there are still many unanswered questions, isn't there?
Let me just explain. As far as I speak for myself, I do not speak for the rest of the accused. I've been charged for 2 charges in terms of the Prevention of Organised Crime Act for participating in the activities of a criminal enterprise, 1, and 2 for managing the activities of a criminal enterprise. Now, those are the charges that I challenged and that had been set aside in the High Court, but in spite of them being set aside, Sean Abrams reinstituted those charges. And those are the charges that have now been withdrawn, or the NDPP has decided to withdraw the authorization to prosecute me for those charges. The one charge that remains relates to an incident in Howick, a murder charge, which I also took under review when I took the matter on review when Jiba authorized my prosecution. And the judge at the time also held that there's no evidence to link me to that charge as well, and it was set aside. So as far as I'm concerned, all the charges against myself will be withdrawn.
Now, the MPA has confirmed that they would be reaching out to those families of people who were killed at Cato Manor. Just to explain the decision to drop these racketeering charges, those families would still be seeking justice. In your opinion, where should those questions be asked, and where should they be looking to finally get those answers for these families?
Well, in my view, just about every single one of those people, the deceased people, were wanted criminals who had committed heinous crimes. They were sought for killing of policemen. They were sought for ATM bombings. They were sought for cash and transit heists. So that's where the answers need to, if anyone need to answer the questions, they should answer those questions. We should rather look at the families of the people who died at the hands of those criminals.
Now, we've heard repeatedly from the new head of the MPA that she's found an organization that was basically broken. You suffered as a result of that time at the MPA. Your view on where the MPA is heading as they try to correct what's been taking place there over the last while?
When I testified at the Zondo State Capture Commission of Inquiry, I gave evidence to the fact that although we now have a new head at the National Prosecuting Authority, and we also have a new head at the Hawks, the remnants of a cabal that were in place before the new NDPP took office. There are still remnants left at the NPA. And I'm afraid unless they are addressed and to be held to be accountable for their actions and deeds in the last couple of years, I'm afraid and concerned that they would continue to undermine the current NDPP, just like they did with the previous NDPP, Advocate Ngolisi Ntasana.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. That's the former KwaZulu-Natal Hawks head, Johan Booysen, on the line, giving us his reaction to news of those racketeering charges against him.